Most of us, when we were younger, had that role model, that person who we really wanted to be like, who we truly kind of identified. And for me, that role model was my dad. I wanted to be like him in so many different ways. My whole desire to go to BC was simply because that's where my father went. I literally decided in the 6th grade that's where I was going. And my deep and abiding love for history really comes from my father. He was a history teacher. And so even to this day, that is something that I just so much enjoy. And honestly, I kind of wanted to be a history teacher for a while because of him. But even more than that, my dad was a man of deep and abiding integrity. And he really demanded that of all of us. He was basically, his word was his bond. If he said he was going to do something, it simply happened. It wasn't something that he ever questioned. And though it was always clear to all of us, the most important person in my dad's life was my mom. There was never a doubt of that. But even with that, he showed us what it was to love unconditionally, because the love he had for my mom is what ultimately spilled into our lives. And I have little doubt my dad would have died for any one of us because of the depth he loved he had for us. And so even to this day, I strive to be the man that my dad was, and the man I know he would want me to be. And so we need to really ask each of ourselves, who is our role model? Who do we truly want to imitate in our lives? That's sort of a question that Paul brings up in his letter to us. But ultimately, for all of us as Christians, the role model we should strive most to be like is Jesus. But so often, there are things that get in the way, that stops us from truly putting our faith in the Lord. When we look at the story of Abram today, he does just that. He trusts in the Lord. The Lord makes an amazing promise to him. When he has in that moment, as an old man, no descendants, he promises him something amazing. And Abram simply believes. And we need to ask ourselves, is that something we're willing to do? Is that something that we do? But what is stopping us from doing just that? But if we seek to have Jesus as our role model, it's not going to happen all at once. But we need to understand what it takes to truly allow Jesus to be that role model, and begins with what God the Father tells us today. Very simple. Listen to him. That really is the first step. But listening to him means to actually hear him and to put into practice what it is that he is calling us to do, who it is he's calling us to be. And part of what he calls us to, that exodus in Jerusalem, is our willingness to take up the cross. If you are to be my disciples, you must take up your cross daily and follow me. Are we willing to do that? Because Jesus did just that. And finally, as things get difficult in living out our faith, Paul tells us, stand firm in the Lord. It's that simple and that difficult. But may we truly seek to make Jesus that role model of our lives. May we truly take to heart what he is calling us today to do. May we come to listen to him, to take up our cross, and to stand firm in the Lord.